Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
What's up, party people? Welcome in to Week 16. Usually that would have been a championship weekend, but the NFL said we need more. So now it's the semi-championship. Does anyone call it the semi-championship? Oh, semi-finals.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it means the same thing, but it just sounded really weird when I said that, Brooks.
Yeah, no one's called it that.
Yeah, thank you. Semifinals week 16. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live. I am your host. It's me, Mike. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had the holliest, the jolliest Christmas yesterday over the weekend. Hope everyone stayed safe as well. I know that, it was a great time for me. Brooks, what do you possibly give to the man who has that much money? And the answer is it's love. It's love. That's because money can't buy love. That's McCartney taught us that, right, Brooksy?
What's that?
Money cannot buy you love.
Yeah, that's darn right.
That's the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
You had me freaking out there, Brooks. I thought my reference was on point.
Sorry, I'll be honest. I was looking for a drop over here.
Oh, there we go. You were looking for your drop?
Yeah.
You don't know where that thing is?
I'm not used to the one having to hit it.
Oh, yeah, your people usually take care of that.
Yes, sir.
Welcome into the Sunday Morning Tilt Fest. Oh, goodness gracious. We got a lot of news to go over, and then we will make those difficult start-sit decisions. So let's start at the beginning.
The big picture.
All righty, for the Baltimore Ravens, unfortunately, Lamar Jackson is out. Don't worry. Tyler Huntley. Oh, no, he is also out because Huntley is on the COVID list. Cool. So, Mark Andrews with a third-string quarterback. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. You all know what I'm talking about out there. Also, Justin Fields, he will not be starting. He is a bit banged up, and Nick Foles will be the guy. Because, look, Matt Nagy wants to go out on his own terms, right? The budget magician, according to the new NFL rules, they could announce after this week that Matt Nagy will no longer be with the team or just simply remove him because you can have you get 2 extra weeks now starting into the season to start looking for your next coach. So just saying, if Matt Nagy happens to go out today with Nick Foles, I mean, it's just the poetry, it's complete, right? Jared Goff remains out as well. It's gonna be Tim Boyle, right? I don't know what's going on up there. Teddy Bridgewater is out, so the irresponsible Drew Lock will be starting. And Monday night, we are expecting that it will not be Taysom Hill nor Trevor Siemian for the New Orleans Saints. At the running back position, DeAndre Swift remains out. Damian Harris is in. Ramondre Stevenson is out. I am going with the New England Patriots flow chart. It has done okay so far. I know it was a real big letdown last week for Ramondre, but Damian Harris is in. He looks like he's in a very good position. Antonio Gibson. Game time decision. He's got that toe situation going on. He is Sunday night football. Absolute nightmare for fantasy football in the semifinals. I mean, if you're a crazy person and you want to roll like full force with Antonio Gibson and you put Jarrett Patterson there on the back of the bench just in case, all right. Otherwise, I would probably use one of my other Sunday bench options, but that's a really tough one. Dalvin Cook is out. Austin Eckler is out. Freaking ridiculous. So Justin Jackson, Alexander Madison, I'll just talk on those two guys because I imagine that the machine there, the start-sit machine, is fully loaded with those players' names. It is extremely difficult if I am simply choosing between the two of them heads up. Justin Jackson is a good player. He's in the much better matchup against the Houston Texans. Alexander Madison is in my opinion, the better overall running back than Justin Jackson, except he's playing the Rams. So not nearly the same level of matchup here for Madison and Jackson. So honestly, for me, it really is a coin flip. I lean Madison, simply because this year we have seen him, when he's been the guy, he has been the guy. We're talking like 20-plus opportunities, several targets. The Vikings should be able to score. Adam Thielen is back for the Minnesota Vikings. So this offense is, aside from Dalvin Cook, they're back to a strength they haven't had for weeks here with the pass-catching weapons. So I do lean Madison, but I think that they are both in a very strong opportunity. I would be playing Jackson as, honestly, top 15, as a top 15 option, maybe even higher, and Madison is a top 10 option. So both of those guys are immediately off of the wire or bench, whatever. They're going right into my starting lineup. And if you have to choose between the two, that sucks. I do lean Madison, but that's just my personal take on that situation. David Johnson is out for the Houston Texans if you were going to play him. I believe that puts Sexy Rexy Burkhead back into play as a complete and total Hail Mary situation, which during the 2021 season in Week 15, many Hail Marys are being thrown out there. So maybe unless there's some news about Rex Burkhead I have not heard about. Brooks, go ahead and look for that. For the Buffalo Bills, Zach Moss is in. Matt Breida is out. Woof. This one is super unfortunate because I do believe if Zach Moss is active, they will play him. Where the past 2 weeks, Devin Singletary has been the man. He's been getting all the snaps. This past week, we saw him with a whole bunch of opportunities. If with Zach, this is not an if anymore. With Zach Moss in, it's really hard to see Devin Singletary receiving all of the opportunities like he did the last week. And on top of that, the matchup, you got the Patriots here. I mean, that's a tough play for Devin Singletary. He's probably back onto my bench. At the wide receiver position, Tyreek Hill, he's kind of the COVID savior of the weekend. He was able to make it back. He will be in your lineups. Tyler Lockett also activated from the COVID list. Adam Thielen, as I mentioned, he is playing. DJ Moore is in. Manny Sanders is in. Gabe Davis is out for the Buffalo Bills. He is on the COVID list. So Manny Sanders, I think, and Beasley's out too, right, Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, Sanders is pretty necessary between him, Knox, and Stephon Diggs. I think Sanders is an okay play. The matchup is trash, obviously, but the opportunity should be there. Kendrick Bourne did make it back from the COVID protocols as well. Mike Evans out. Brandon Cooks out. Brashad Perryman remains out. So if you were looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers saying, I'm going to throw I'm going to toss a coin into the wishing well of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver core, don't throw it at Brashad Perryman because he will reject your wish. We got, Tyler Johnson, sort of interesting, maybe Scotty Miller. All the players over there. I mean, and Antonio Brown is the big name, obviously. That's why we focused on him during the week. If he's on your bench, it's hard to see a world where you have a starting roster so strong that Antonio Brown doesn't crack it. But the auxiliary pieces that we've been talking about can't go with Perryman. Mike Williams, Jalen Guyton, they are both out. Josh Palmer is in play to me in this game here because the matchup against Houston is delightful. Let's see if they get that rookie going, towards the end of the year. Kadarius Toney will make his return. How long has he been out? 3 months?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I'm not playing Kadarius Toney, not this week, but maybe you're looking forward to championship week. Rosters are thin, waivers are thin. Kadarius Toney is worth a speculation stash, in my opinion. Jamison Crowder is out. That really is just saving you out there from playing Jamison Crowder because I understand it. I understand the desire. You're like, Crowder, he should see volume, right? Nope, no volume. Visca is out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That means, Laquan Treadwell, he'll be good for 4 for 50. You know it. Other important ones, Travis Kelce does remain out for the Kansas City Chiefs. That is a devastating blow, of course, unless you are matched up against Travis Kelce, at which Merry Christmas to you, because that is brutal. That is brutal. Jason and I have a matchup where we have just lost everybody. Travis Kelce was our one remaining hero, and now he's gone, and I am sad. Tyler Higbee will be back for the Rams. The Muth remains Uth. Brooks nodded. Okay. Thank you. I wasn't sure. I debated, do I even go with it? But I did it because I'm in front of all my friends, and this is where I tell my stupid jokes. So, but Pratt Freiermuth, he's concussed. He remains out. Darren Waller is doubtful. Goodness, Darren Waller. Unfortunate. And Donald Parham is placed on the IR, but the dude is okay, which was great news if you were following that injury. Very, very scary stuff. Oh, gosh. But that's all the news for now. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen between now and the kickoff in 45 minutes? Because the world is crazy right now. But the start sit tool, that is available over on the fantasyfootballers.com. That's where our rankings are. I will be updating my rankings again after I am done here with Sunday Live. Look, I can't do the rankings and do the Sunday Live at the same time. I'm just one man, people. I can't do both. But if you want right now, you could watch this show and go to the fantasyfootballers.com. Start sit tool, player X versus player Y. We let you know. If you are a kind supporter at jointhefoot.com, that unlocks the 4 players. We gather that information. We see who is trending, and we see who is hot.
He's so hot right now.
Do want to thank our sponsor, Pristine Auction, best sports memorabilia site out there. Did you get a little bit of quiche there over the holiday? You're like, what am I gonna get? Why not get a signed piece of sports memorabilia from our friends at Pristine Auction? If you have not signed up yet, pristineauction.com, registration code BALLERS, because that thing's going to give you $10 free for your first auction victory. Brooks, who is hot right now?
Mike, I got a few Ronald Jones questions for
Oh,
you.
of course.
Let's do a check here. Ronald Jones or David Montgomery at Seattle, or is that too far?
Oh, man. So the game up in Seattle is our only weatherish type of game. It's going to be very cold with a possibility of a light dusting of snow, at least at the beginning of the game. Low winds, so it shouldn't really affect the game, but just letting everybody know that is at least one of the variables if you're going through everything. Montgomery at the helm. Matt Nagy will be looking to establish it as Andy Dalton is the starting – or I'm sorry, not Andy Dalton. Nick Foles. Even better. They're starting Nick Foles in week 15 or 16. Gosh, dude, I don't know what's going on, Brooks. I am falling apart. So David Montgomery or Rojo.
At Carolina, I should have said.
Yeah. The matchup is clearly much better here for David Montgomery. I lean going with Montgomery. If everybody were around for Tampa Bay, I think I would go over to Ronald Jones. He won't, at least in my projections of what this team will do, Ronald Jones won't be out there with the Leonard Fournette role. He'll be the primary rusher. He will see some targets, and they'll try and get him in space. He probably projects as the goal line running back as well. So it's not that he's a bad play at all, but David Montgomery to me is an excellent running back 1 play this week, and I go with Montgomery ever so slightly by currently 2 spots on my rankings.
Would you go with Madison easily over Rojo from what you were saying earlier?
Yes, yeah, I would. I'll take the full workload. Again, the Los Angeles Rams, it's very difficult to run on them, but scoring opportunities should be there for the Minnesota Vikings, which gives you a high probability of a scoring opportunity or 2 for Alexander Madison.
All right, last Rojo is him or Justin Jackson, of course, is a popular search.
Okay, so that one is super close to me. Currently, I have Justin Jackson just 2 spots behind Ronald Jones. I do, man. I think if you are in, nope. I'm not even gonna go with the scoring format here. If it were my team, I would play Justin Jackson. I think that he will see 3+ targets, 12+ carries, and chance of scoring. It's the Houston Texans, man. Justin Jackson looked fabulous last week. He's fresh. He is ready to go. Not a lot of these running backs are have that much energy in the tank at this point in the season. And I really like Justin Jackson a lot. So who's next?
This one might be tough on you, Mike. You're doing Justin Jackson or Javonte Williams at the Raiders.
It's not hard. It's Justin Jackson.
You
got to go with the opportunity. You got to chase the volume of this thing. Javonte and Melvin, they are just two peas in the pod, man. 50-50. Everything is right down the middle. I think I saw something that they're like averaging the exact same fantasy points on a per-game basis throughout the season. I know that Javonte had the spike week. And we all know that if Javonte Williams were alone, he would dominate, and he would be incredible for fantasy football. Unfortunately, the coaching staff in Denver, they're like, we want to win football games. What's that all about? I'm out here trying to win fantasy championships, Fangio. Yeah, but I'm taking the volume of Justin Jackson. Absolutely. Who's next?
You going Justin Jackson or Miles Sanders versus Giants?
Ooh. What I really don't like on these Sunday Lives is like when I feel like I'm just like going all in on one player, because that's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous to put all of the eggs into one basket. I like Miles Sanders a lot. So let me just talk about Miles. He missed a bunch of practice this week. At least the reports came out and said he is actually ready to go. He doesn't need to practice. We're going to let Miles rest up and be ready. And this matchup, I highlighted it. He was my start of the week because I think that he is someone who is kind of dropped. He's had a teardrop, rightfully so, with the way that the beginning of the season started. But he's a good player, and he's in a very good situation. Now, the problem with Miles Sanders is the Philadelphia Eagles are crazy. That the way that they do things, they could say, goal line, Jordan Howard, go get in there, where that certainly could happen to Justin Jackson. There's other, Joshua Kelly is on that team. That could certainly happen. But I trust the pass catching from Justin Jackson just a little bit more than I do from Miles Sanders. And we've highlighted before, the value of a target for a running back is worth just so much more than a carry for Miles Sanders. So even if Miles has more carries by the end of the day, in terms of the opportunity and expected points of what guys should be putting up with their opportunities, I'm going with Justin Jackson against the Houston Texans. I guess the chips they're in the center of the table, all of them. So if Jackson has a bad game, I get it. That's going to be rough. People will be upset. I'll be upset, honestly. But they're in. I'm going all in on Justin Jackson, apparently. Who's next?
Would you go with him over either of the Rams running backs, Mike?
Jackson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I would.
And this is popular. Henderson or Sony Michel, if you had to pick one.
Okay. I would go with Sony. Which I don't think I mentioned it, but Cam Akers is out. If you have not been following the situation which he will now be, currently forgotten, but he was going to be the dude. Cam Akers was going to be the guy for the Los Angeles Rams. Unfortunately, he tore his Achilles in the preseason, and that's usually like the beginning of the end for a running back in the NFL. Although we've now seen Deonta Foreman come back, and he has been serviceable. Not elite, but serviceable. But Cam Akers was designated to return and activated. He is simply out this week. I don't think that Cam Akers is like a stash for championship week. All of a sudden, he's going to come in on the white horse and he's going to save the day. in your championship, I don't think that's going to happen. But if you are in a keeper league, you should be throwing Cam Akers on your bench right now. You should have done that as soon as the designated return information came out. But just in case you didn't, and he's there, I would go pick him up. Now, I would play Sony Michel over Darrell Henderson. We only have the very small sample, and it was Henderson's first game back from the injury from COVID. But Sony looks good right now. The team is saying so many nice things about Sony Michel. He even had like a huge pass play that got called back on a hold this past week. If they get near the goal line, I expect it to be Sony. So I would play Michel pretty firmly over Henderson. Who's next?
We're going to the people, Mike.
Oh, let's do it.
Stardom, set 'em.
Again, there's so much going on right now, and this is a big weekend. Totally understand the ramifications and the weight, the gravity of the situation. The fantasyfootballers.com. That's where the rankings will be. But let's get into these questions. All right. Zach wants to know Josh Reynolds or Laquan Treadwell. Personally, I would go with Treadwell. He's going to give you 4 for 50, and Reynolds has been fine for the Lions. I think they're very happy with that pickup. But Jared Goff is not there. And I'm not hanging out in Detroit with whatever backup gets in there for the Lions. I want no part of that situation. Like, it really sucks for St. Brown. He's been coming on so strong here at the end of the season to get to this point where you really had the confidence to play him, and it's the backup, and not even a good backup. I mean, they both should see volume. Does the volume get to their hands? I do not know. Next question here is Chris wants to know, in a half point, do you go with Josh Jacobs or Miles Sanders? Josh Jacobs has the tough matchup against Denver. I would go with Miles Sanders in that situation. I know that Jacobs has been coming through. It's been nasty. It's been gross. It's been dirty. But the Broncos, this divisional game for them, I think is going to be pretty tough for them to move the ball. This next question is from Gunner. Ooh. Keenan Allen or Antonio Brown? Goodness gracious. All right. Mike Williams being out does give me the confidence I need here to play Keenan Allen over Antonio Brown. Plus, he's just back from the injury. Let's see how much gas he has in the tank. It's Antonio Brown. He's probably good to go. I mean, there's a reason he is elite, an elite fantasy or NFL wide receiver. But I'm going with Keenan Allen here over Antonio Brown. I would expect at least 8 targets for Keenan Allen in this matchup. Although I get it. The upside of Antonio Brown is extremely alluring, but personally I would it's playing it a little bit safer. And that's not usually how I roll, but I don't know. That question has me going with the safety option. Next question. Rob wants to know, in a PPR, do you go with Moreau, Foster Moreau, or CJ Uzama? Man. Moreau feels like we're in the safe. Look, I'm going with Moreau. Uzama could have another blow-up game here. This is one of those situations where against Baltimore, big plays, I totally get it. But if he doesn't give you that, it's 2 for 15 from Uzama, where Derek Carr has now solidified this. He kind of plays scared. Like, everything has to go through the tight end. If your offense is so reliant on the tight end and not the personnel, the tight end, that you have to run your offense through your backup tight end, something's going on there. Something is weird, and that's not how you win football games, in this guy's opinion. Next question here. John wants to know DJ Moore or Josh Jacobs in a full-point PPR. That's where I would go Josh Jacobs. He'll catch a couple passes, so I'm not letting the PPR fully sway me into the wide receiver, and their quarterback situation is dire. That's being kind to what's going on in Carolina. Cam Newton could be the guy. Sam Darnold might get in this game. Who knows what the Carolina Panthers are up to? I'm going to play Josh Jacobs in that situation. Plus, DJ Moore is hurt. Could re-aggravate real easily. Not that Josh Jacobs can't re-aggravate every injury in his history on a weekly basis. All right, we're going to close it out here. I'll try and go rapid real quick. Lockett or Renfro in a PPR? I'll go Renfro against the Denver Broncos there. Got to pick one. From Andrew says McLaurin or Josh Palmer. I'll go with McLaurin. That's a very tough one. Not taking the better quarterback, but I'll take the better wide receiver. Damian Harris or DJ Moore in a PPR. I would go with Damian Harris. And then we'll get out of here on this one. Kenneth wants to know Rashad Penny or Devontae Parker. I'm going with Devontae Parker in that one. He's been solid in the last 4 appearances. That's been very scattered throughout the season. But, dude, I don't know what to do with Penny. Penny is like kind of a last case scenario for me at the running back position. That is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for Sunday Live. Let's all take a breath. Remember, enjoy this moment as much as you possibly can. You play this game to have fun. Don't let all the dark cloud and everything that's going on with the 2021 season overshadow the fact that you are in the semifinals. It's very tough to get here. Have a good time. I wish you nothing but the best. Make sure you keep it beautiful. TheFantasyFootballers.com where the rankings are. Good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow on the podcast. Goodbye.